you know. I know you know. I know. You know. I know you.
Think I ain't spoke to my son. Think I ain't told my son, his mama, and his grandmama, he's going to prison.
I said a while ago when T.I.'s son King was getting a lot of flack and a lot of heat in the media, that to me he just looked like a young kid that wanted to prove to his father that he was a man too.
After King Harris's latest run-in with the law, things inside the Harris household took a dark turn. Tiny finally filed for divorce, and the reason shook everyone. She couldn't accept how T.I. completely turned his back on their son after the arrest. But what's even more shocking? T.I. didn't even try to stop her. No statements, no effort to fix things. It's like he just let the family fall apart. Now, behind the cameras and perfect pictures, chaos has taken over. Everyone's pointing fingers. Some blame the parents for spoiling King. Others blame King himself for throwing away everything his parents built. The cracks that were once hidden in their marriage are now wide open for the world to see. For years, people thought T.I. and Tiny were unbreakable, a couple that had survived fame, rumors, and everything in between. But the truth? Those cracks were always there, waiting for the moment to split everything apart. That moment came in October 2024, right after King's reckless arrest dragged the whole family back into the headlines. He was leaving a gas station in his BMW, driving wild as always, when he nearly crashed into a police car. And that's when everything spiraled. The officers approached and immediately smelled weed. Then they spotted a gun tucked into King's waistband. That alone could have landed him serious trouble, but when they ran his name, things went from bad to worse. Turns out, King had an outstanding warrant dating all the way back to 2022, involving speeding, a suspended license, and a DUI. Every one of those charges came back to haunt him that night.
Alright, I need you to step out the vehicle.
What you want to do? You want to take my gun off my head?
Yes, sir.
There's one in the head.
Does your buddy have one as well?
It's guns in here.
Alright, just hang tight right here for me. Let me clear this. I don't want any accidental fires.
There's no safety. You gotta take the
There's no safety.
take the clip out of it.
Well, I'm not gonna mess around with that too much. I'm just set this down right here. Dude, step out for me. Yes, sir. Place your hands behind your back for me. Alright, right now you're just being detained. You're not under arrest. I'm gonna be at the church. Alright, I appreciate you being cool, man. We're just gonna take a look at this information, make sure it's valid.
I ain't sure of this.
Just take the step to the side for me.
That night could have gone differently. If King had just stayed calm, maybe he would have walked away free. But instead, every mistake he'd ever made came crashing back like karma collecting its debt. When the arrest footage leaked online, social media went into a frenzy. The internet ripped him apart without mercy. Yet buried under all that chaos, one thing stood out: the look in King's eyes. For the first time, he looked like a kid who finally realized he'd gone too far. There was no arrogance, no loud attitude, just silence and regret. In that 30-minute video, you can see him fighting his emotions. It's like he knows the only way out now is to stay calm and cooperate, something that doesn't come easy for him. We've all seen how wild and impulsive King can be in public, but in that moment, he was the complete opposite. Even the arresting officer noticed how composed he was through it all. But that calm didn't save him. He was still taken to DeKalb County Jail, before being transferred to Pickens County once the old warrant came up. Once the clip went viral, the comment section turned brutal. One user called him a trust fund prison punk, and the internet found it hilarious. Another one wrote, "He acts broke for clout but thinks his parents' money can save him." That's how fast the world turns on you, especially when your life's been lived online. But here's the truth: King wasn't the only one paying for his mistakes. The fallout hit deeper than anyone expected, tearing through his parents' marriage like a storm. Those cracks that had been building for years? They finally split wide open. T.I. tried to play the role of a heartbroken father in public, but Tiny wasn't buying it. In her divorce papers, she listed King's downward spiral as the final straw, the moment she decided she was done. Surprisingly, T.I. didn't even fight back. He stayed silent, insisting he'd done his job as a father, and that King alone was responsible for his own downfall. As cold as that may sound, T.I. had been warning everyone for years. Back in 2022, when King started going viral for all the wrong reasons, T.I. went online pleading with him to slow down. He said King was walking a dangerous road, one that only leads to jail or worse. He even told Tiny and King's grandmother to keep a close eye on him before it was too late. And those weren't just empty words. T.I. knew that path firsthand. He'd lived it. He'd served time. He'd paid the price. He just didn't want to watch his own son repeat the same story.
Hitting me and getting in my comments, telling me what to tell King, okay? I know my son. Think I ain't spoke to my son? Think I ain't told my son, his mama, and his grandmamas, his going to prison. If you got to keep this up, his going to prison. Ain't no way around it. Ain't nothing I'm gonna be able to do about it. Can't nobody stop it but him. You know what I mean? I've already had the conversation. I've already made my peace with it. Because I know that energy. I was that energy. I know exactly how it's gonna turn out.
But Tiny wasn't having any of it. In fact, T.I.'s calm reaction only fueled her anger even more. She used it as ammunition in the divorce, claiming that T.I. had failed as a father, that if he'd been more present and firm with King, their son might never have drifted so far off track. And honestly, she had a point. T.I. spent years in and out of prison, starting from the very time Tiny found out she was pregnant with King. By the time he was finally home for good, King had already learned what life felt like without a father around. Even after his release, not much changed. Rumor has it that T.I. sent King to live with his grandmother, far away from the luxury his parents enjoyed. King himself once admitted that despite growing up in a wealthy family, he didn't live that lifestyle. He said his grandmother raised him, and he barely stayed at his parents' home unless the cameras were rolling for their reality show. So when you think about it, it's no surprise King started seeking validation elsewhere. With a fractured home life and parents caught up in fame, the streets became his stage, and every reckless move pulled him closer to disaster. One incident, though, showed the world just how far gone he really was: the infamous Waffle House meltdown in 2022. It all began over something trivial. A worker had accidentally added pickles to King's order, and that tiny mistake sent him spiraling. He exploded on the employee, yelling, cursing, and recording the entire outburst for social media. But instead of making him look powerful, it exposed him. The internet saw not a rebel, but a privileged kid throwing a tantrum. The video spread fast, and people weren't just judging King. They were pointing fingers at T.I., asking how a man once hailed as a king of discipline could let his own son spiral so far out of control.
Stop talking to me. This ain't your restaurant. This ain't your restaurant. Everything you make, I can pull out my pocket right now. I ain't tripping on you. I ain't tripping. Get the hell out of my face. I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you. Who the hell is he? What's your name?
What's your name?
My name King. You know it and your mama know it. Tell your mama Happy Mother's Day. Tell your mama Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. That file show.
Come back.
What? On game what? On game what? Come here. Come here. I'll show you what I do. Come here. I'll show you what I do. Come here. Come here.
So when T.I. posted that video warning King about the path he was taking, it didn't sit well with Tiny at all. In her eyes, all that preaching came years too late. She felt he should have been a father back when King actually needed guidance, not now, when the damage was already done. For a brief moment, things seemed to calm down between them. But deep down, T.I. couldn't shake off the disappointment eating away at him. And that tension finally boiled over in front of thousands of fans, right in the middle of an Atlanta Falcons game. It started with a few words that cut deep. King made a remark claiming he didn't grow up with privilege, that he had to earn everything himself. That line hit T.I. hard. He immediately stepped in, reminding his son that he grew up surrounded by luxury, not struggle. But King wasn't backing down. Within seconds, the argument turned into a full-blown confrontation, and before anyone could react, King actually swung on his father. The clip that surfaced later showed just how heated it got. T.I. looked like he was seconds away from forgetting that this was his son and not some stranger testing him on the street. The crowd around them froze, watching a father and son clash, not over fame, not over money, but over pride, ego, and a lifetime of unresolved pain.
To make him look better, he said it he know not to. Silver spoon, I ain't never ate with that day a day in my life.
Nigga, you did have a silver spoon.
Look, Tip used to have to come to my grandma's house, because I'm getting in the fight.
You cried like a baby to go to your grandmama's house.
Every day.
You used to hold your breath.
Every day.
I know you. You capping. I know you. I know you. I know you.
Shut up. Shut up.
I know you.
Ain't no mystery about here.
I know you though. I know you though.
Shut up.
I know you though. I know you. What's wrong with y'all? Why y'all doing that to me? Y'all know me. You know I stand on business.
The clip blew up online within hours, pulling in thousands of likes and reactions. People flooded the comments, applauding T.I. for finally putting his foot down with King. He should have done that a long time ago, one user wrote. When you ignore the problem, it grows into something you can't control. Others chimed in, King's been wild for too long, maybe now he'll wake up. But while the internet was cheering, Tiny was fuming. She hated seeing her son being humiliated publicly like that. And what made it worse? When she got home, she found out T.I. had actually kicked King out of the house, telling him to go figure life out on his own. That move broke her. She felt he went too far, and that decision created a rift between them so deep that it eventually pushed her to walk away from T.I. entirely. In her divorce filings, Tiny laid it all bare, not just King's downward spiral, but years of pain she'd swallowed. The infidelity. The temper. The countless times she believed he'd changed, only for him to prove otherwise. By the time King's drama hit the headlines, Tiny wasn't just angry at her son, she was staring at his father, realizing King was simply repeating the same mistakes he once made. That realization hit harder than anything else. The same street energy that once built T.I.'s image was now destroying his family. So when T.I. decided to cut King off after the arrest, Tiny snapped, because, in her eyes, he wasn't rejecting his son, he was rejecting the reflection of himself. That's when the divorce papers finally hit the table. And you can see how badly King still craves his father's approval. Every video where he flashes guns or talks tough? It's like he's begging for validation from the man who built his identity on the same kind of chaos. After that arrest footage went viral, fans even claimed King wanted that moment, that he staged his own downfall just to prove he could live up to the image he'd been chasing for years. Some said he'd finally earned his stripes. Others called it sad, a young man so desperate to be respected that he'd risk his freedom for it. And maybe they're right, because this isn't the first time King's behavior forced his father to step in. Remember that viral moment with Boozie's son, Tootie Raw? King and Tootie were filming a music video, showing off guns like they were in a trap house. Within minutes, T.I. and Boozie pulled up, furious. You could hear the disappointment in their voices as they checked their sons on camera. T.I. told King straight, one stupid decision, one illegal gun, and it could all be over. No music career. No second chances. Just a cell. Both fathers were dead serious, trying to get through to their boys before they learned the lesson the hard way.
So motherfucking 12 pull up and they say, hey, who do you belong to? Who raised their hand? Nobody got to raise their hand. I've been seeing him around too here a lot. You gonna raise your own hand? I've been seeing him around too. Huh? Well, when you got drugs, it ain't like it ain't. I know that. Y'all got drugs around those legal guns. They called
It's not a
Possession of a firearm and commission of a crime, sir. That is a felony.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
On the surface, it seemed like T.I. was finally trying to set his son straight, showing him that the road he was walking would only end behind bars. But when Tiny found out what had gone down, she wasn't proud of it. In fact, she was furious. It wasn't because she supported King's reckless behavior or his obsession with acting like a street legend. What really angered her was that T.I. decided to expose their family business to the public. To her, it felt like too little, too late. King was simply echoing what he'd seen his father glorify for years. But the moment that truly broke Tiny's patience came when King's baby mama drama exploded online. Out of nowhere, T.I. went on a podcast and proudly announced that he was about to become a grandfather, that King was expecting a child. Tiny couldn't believe it. To her, it sounded like T.I. wasn't condemning their son's choices, he was celebrating them. And the situation itself wasn't something to brag about, it was messy, confusing, and far from the kind of example she'd hoped their family would set.
He just became a father, so I got 2 grandchildren now.
Wow, congrats.
Yeah, I got 2 granddaughters. I got a grandson on the way.
Wow.
King's about to have a son.
King's about to have a son. Congrats.
Yeah. And I told him I'm gonna make this the greatest gangster of all times. I will raise this child to torture you the way that you tortured me. I promise you, there will be an indictment in this young one.
Rumors began swirling that King's baby mama, Big Nana, was much older than him, and that she might have seen him as nothing more than a quick come-up. Some even whispered that King was too naive, too blinded by the idea of love to see what was really going on. But none of that seemed to matter to him. King didn't care about the gossip or the headlines. For the first time in a long while, he looked genuinely happy, proud even. When his son finally arrived in November 2024, King couldn't contain it. He was glowing, bragging about his baby online, fully stepping into the role of a father like it was the one thing he'd been waiting for his whole life.
People hit me up like, King, I know you tired, you ain't getting no sleep, and the truth be told, before this little I ain't been getting no sleep, you know what I'm saying? I just been outside working, lifestyle, lifestyle just lifing, you know what I'm saying? And, but now I'm damn sure not getting no sleep. This up every morning, and then around the morning time, he like to do that little live concert I be doing with him. And he like to walk around the house. So
King even dropped a track titled Dear Son, where he rapped about stepping up as a father, captioning his post, November 5th, 8:09 a.m., welcome King Jr. time to take over. For a brief moment, it seemed like he was finally turning the page, ready to grow, to mature, to be the kind of dad he never had. For Tiny, that was the first real light she'd seen in a long time, her son actually present, breaking the same cycle his father once fell into. But destiny had a cruel sense of timing. Just as King was showing signs of change, that old arrest video resurfaced online, dragging his name right back through the mud. T.I. tried to stand by him, to play the supportive father in public, but deep down, his disappointment couldn't stay hidden for long. And for Tiny, that was the final betrayal. She could overlook the arguments, the cheating, even the pride, but watching T.I. turn his back on their son, ashamed to even live under the same roof with him, that shattered her completely. So when the divorce papers finally hit the table, it wasn't a surprise to anyone. It was the last nail in a marriage that had been cracking for years. Tiny was done pretending. Done protecting his image. This time, she was walking away for good. Now the only question left, what does T.I. do next? Because if he stays as silent as he did with King, this family might already be beyond saving.